How's it going, guys? Violet 4K here. So today we're actually going to be looking at the GMMK Pro, and we're going to see if it's still worth to buy this keyboard in 2021. Now, overall, I actually think this keyboard's a really nice looking keyboard. I like the knob. I like the way it looks. I like the side LEDs you can have here if you like RGB. But overall, I think it's a nice looking keyboard. Now, I currently have this keyboard built with NK silks, with artifact bloom keycaps from Drop, and then the goat stabilizers that came with the kit. Now, some of the cons that I see with this keyboard are the stabilizers themselves. I do know they're going to be coming out with new stabilizers. I think they're coming out with V2. I saw it on Reddit, and they do look pretty promising. But overall, the stabilizers stock are not very good. I'm going to insert a sound right now. And as you can tell, the rattliness from the keyboard or from the stabilizers is not very good. It took a lot of work to get these tuned correctly and to where there's not as frustrating, but overall I'm really happy with the way the keyboard looks. I think one thing that they're doing right with this keyboard is they just announced top cases. When they said this is white ice, obviously it's more of a silver, which I kind of hate that they called it white ice when it's actually just a silver. Just name it silver in my opinion. But overall, I think it looks nice. I'm not a huge fan of silver keyboards in my personal opinion, but overall I think it looks nice. The back of the keyboard does come with different screw entries. There's about 8 of them here, and then there's several screws on the inside to get the plate off the PCB, and I think that was my biggest complaint. So with my keyboard, this kit that I got it from Micro Center. I wanted to pick it up because I wanted to see what it was like to build in it, and the biggest frustration I saw was that they over screwed some of the screws in here, and they were way over tightened, and I actually ended up stripping 2 of the screws. So it was really frustrating. I got kind of annoyed. I wish they hadn't over tightened them because I ended up stripping the screws. So there's 2 screws I wasn't able to fit back on this. I was a little annoyed, and I also had to redo the lube on the stabilizers. So I ended up actually doing a holy mod on these and just re-lubing it myself. I would clean off the other lube because the stabilizers for the shift keys and the enter key and delete, they were way over lubed, and then the spacebar had basically no lube. So there's a lot of inconsistency with the lubing job itself. But overall, I think once I did the holy mod and I lubed these, I think it sounded good. Assembling the keyboard back was pretty frustrating because there's so many little parts. They have diffusers on the side LEDs that you have to put through here on the plate, and it just was kind of a mess putting it together. It's kind of confusing, but overall I think once you have the board built, I think this is a nice looking keyboard and it's a good kit to pick up. The price point is $169, which actually I think is a fair price for this. I think the quality of the anodizing on the case is really nice. I didn't see any kind of scuff marks or anything like that. It just it turns out to be a pretty nice looking keyboard. The knob itself feels pretty good. It's pretty tactile in my opinion. You can feel the clicks when you are rotating it, and overall just a nice keyboard. Now, here's my one gripe about it, and I think this is just because of how many screws there were, and I just had frustrations with the screws themselves and trying to get the stabilizers off to mod them. My biggest frustration was the fact that there's so many screws that you have to keep track of. It's really confusing. I know some keyboards do tend to have a lot of screws, but I might just be a little biased right now because I just built a keyboard that basically had no screws other than what's going on the stabilizers. But I just think that if you're going to be making a keyboard, don't make it so inaccessible to get to the PCB. The plate is it's really tough to kind of get to the plate and kind of do what you need to do to it. I think this keyboard with a lot of modding can sound extremely good. I mean, even after the holy modding and everything, the stabilizers sound fine. They're not perfect. I think that's my biggest gripe, is just the stabilizers themselves, and then obviously getting into it. But there are other keyboards such as the Keychron Q1 with the knob that's very similar and has a lot of good fixes to it from the previous version. They had pinging issues, but I think they fixed it. So I think this is starting to get more competitors, and I think you're starting to see more budget entry-level keyboards that sound really good for the price. So I do think that this is worth picking up if you're into 75%. I'm personally not into 75%. I prefer 65% or 60% itself, but overall it's a nice keyboard. I can't complain about it other than getting into it. But if you're looking for a keyboard, I think, and you want to just kind of go to like a Micro Center near you or buy, I think this is a good entryway into getting into custom mechanical keyboards. Yeah, I think it's a good keyboard overall. A little frustrating to work on in my opinion, but I think once you get it tuned correctly, I think it'll sound really nice. I'm going to leave you guys with a sound test. So if you did like this video, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.